Hi guys, this is first of 3 videos that I will be demoing for you on how to make fresh pasta. So this is following the recipe that I have on Schoology, and if you have all of these utensils at home, you can make your own pasta. Even if you don't have a pasta maker, you can roll it out with a rolling pin and still make pasta and just cut it. So to start, this is just our plain pasta recipe. So the recipe says to pour 1 cup of flour on the counter. So remember, when we're measuring flour, we don't want to pack the flour. We simply want to just scoop, incorporate some air. And then if you don't have a leveler at home, I usually just use the side of the spoon and level it off, and it works just as well. So first you want to start with 1 cup of flour on your countertop, and it says to make a well. So when we're making pasta dough, it is hands-on, so you're going to have to use your hands. So basically into the middle of our well here, you want to make in the middle of our flour, you want to make a big well. So go bigger than you think, because we need to put 3 egg yolks, 1 egg, a teaspoon of olive oil, and a tablespoon of milk in here. So we want to make sure that we're measuring correctly and we have a big enough well for all those ingredients. So step 2 says add to the well of the flour 3 egg yolks. So I do have a custard cup here, and again we're going to separate our eggs. If you don't have an egg separator at home, you can do it still. You basically would need to use either side of your shell. So you want to crack it open, and you basically want to just shimmy it back and forth between the 2 shells like this. Until you get all of the egg white out, and then we need the yolk. So there's 1 egg yolk, again doing the same thing back and forth, get all the egg white out. That's 2 egg yolk, and this is our 3rd egg yolk. And then you actually need 1 whole egg. So I'm just going to crack it and put it right into our well. Okay. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick. So we have 3 egg yolks, 1 egg. I need 1 teaspoon of olive oil. So I actually have some measured out here, but I think I did 1 tablespoon. So we need 1 teaspoon. This is my olive oil. So we need 1. And then 1 tablespoon of milk. And I had already pre-measured that, so that's right here in this little custard cup. Alright, so that's a lot. That's why you need to make your well big enough so that everything can be held in there. Step 3 says, using a fork, stir the liquid mixture, add a little flour as you mix. So some recipes call for you to beat up those egg yolks, so you don't have to worry about doing that in your well. So if you want to do that first, kind of just pierce your egg yolks, and that'll help to beat everything up together. So basically you just want to start beating together. If you already notice that there's going to be like an escape, you know, like it's going over the edge, you can take some of your flour that you have somewhere else and maybe just support that edge there so that it doesn't spread out over. But if it does, it's okay. You can still incorporate the flour and it'll work. So again, at this point, we're just slowly incorporating the flour around the edges a little bit at a time. Don't go crazy and just start doing this and then all your liquid's going to go everywhere. So a little bit of flour, a little bit at a time. Mix it in there. Again, if you have somewhere where you think it's going to escape over the edge, just move some of your flour around and help to support the wall. So slow process. Don't go too fast. Slowly incorporate your flour all around. Okay. And then once you get to a point where you can use your hands, you can do that. But I'm not quite there yet, because if I do right now, it's going to get very sticky. So you might end up just kind of incorporating the flour into the sides there like I just did, so that you can get to this process a little bit faster. So just start scooping your flour in there. Now the recipe says once the flour is completely mixed into the dough mixture, begin kneading. So basically that'll be all with your hands, so you won't need your fork anymore. So I think I'm kind of almost there. It's still a little sticky in there. But I think at this point I can do it. So basically you want to flour up your fingers a little bit so that doesn't stick to you. Okay, so begin kneading the dough. Step number 5 says add another half cup of flour as you need. So you will need more dough than that first cup, or more flour than that first cup that you added. So you can already tell it's kind of sticky. So you're definitely going to need to incorporate more flour. So I am going to measure that out. I just have a 1 cup measuring cup right here, so I'm just going to kind of scoop in here and get what I need. I'm not going to add it all at once. So a little bit at a time. Put that on top. Maybe fold that in. This is kind of similar to the cinnamon rolls that we made, where you may not add the whole half cup of flour, but you may. Kind of depends how the weather is outside, and maybe how your measuring was, if it wasn't spot on. So this is still very sticky. So we're going to add more flour. And if it helps to get some flour on your hands to help get that dough off, you might need to do that. And then remember kneading. So when we did that with cinnamon rolls, you can get like you spread it out here. You want to fold it, press, turn 90 degrees, and then fold, press, turn 90 degrees. That's a knead. Okay, so fold, press, turn. So you can see it's not as sticky anymore, other than what's already stuck to my fingers. So I'm gonna get all that off if I can, so that I can continue kneading. I didn't add quite the half cup that it called for, but I may add a little bit more. Let's see. But right now it's not really sticking, so we might be good. We don't want it to be a sticky dough, because in the next video I will be rolling it through a pasta maker. So obviously we don't want it to be sticky then, because it'll stick in that pasta maker. Okay, it is getting a little sticky as I work with it, so I'm gonna add a little bit more flour, or try and gather all this flour that's on the counter. If anyone has a pasta maker at home, I would encourage you to try and use it this week. If you do not, again, you can use a rolling pin and just roll out your dough for the next video. Don't worry if you don't have a pasta maker, obviously. Okay, so it's getting pretty smooth. So it says knead the dough until smooth on step 6. So I would say it's about there. We don't want to over knead it, because then it'll get very tough and it'll be hard to roll out later. But when we were going to be doing this in class, this was going to be day one. So we were just going to simply make the dough and then wrap it up and wait till tomorrow to roll it out. So I'm going to try and like demo it like we would have done in class. All right. So I'm kneading. I'm going to add a little bit more flour because it still seems a little sticky some places. Get off what I can with my hands. Knead what I just added in. What we can do is shape it into a ball or like a flat disc. And then step number 7 says to rub olive oil over the dough and place it in a bag and then let it rest. So that's what we're gonna do. So that's what your dough should look like. It's still malleable, you can move it, but it's not sticky. That's basically what we're looking for. All right, so I'm gonna get my hands are messy. That's okay. Get my olive oil. I'm just going to probably use actually. Oh, I had some left over. Let's use that. Olive oil. Drizzle it on top. You want to roll it all over. Just get it nice and oily. Okay. So that is our pasta dough. Put it in a plastic baggie and let it rest. If you're going to make this all in one day, I would say let it rest for, an hour. If not, you can just do this for step 1 or for day 1, and then day 2 we can actually roll out. So